If there's anything the Kansas City Southern Railroad is known for in the rail fanning community, it's their infinite inventory of banger paint schemes. Whether it be one of their Grey Ghost AC-44s or the Uncanny Holiday Train, the Kansas City Southern always has something special to offer. In today's video, we're going to be covering a few special Kansas City Southern locomotives that happen to be gray or silver that I captured over the last 2 weeks. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Our story begins on Thursday, July 16th, 2026. This day started like any other, with a heads up that KCS 4859 had passed the hump, of course. Given that I've always had a desire to see this thing leading, and it's technically in danger of being repainted because of, you know, the CPKC merger, I knew that I had to go catch this train. However, the fact that it had already passed the hump meant I had to go to Park City. You guys are getting blessed with an extremely fast-paced video today because when I got to my spot in Park City, the gates were already going down. I don't really have much else to say because it's 4859. Oh, I thought of something. Apparently dogs are rail fans too, because a dog owned by the homeowner of the house that I was parked in front of came out and started barking at me as the train passed. In the olden times of 2024, I would have just caught my special train and gone right home, but I didn't want this to be a one and done, so we decided to go down to the K&O Orient Yard to see what was happening down there.
You guys recognize where we are? We're at the land of John Ragebait, and here comes Poop, the Woo-Shock engine. I'm gonna go get set up.
Come to find out, it was actually not the Woo-Shock engine, but rather it was just 4026. Still need to see a Canada cab out in Wichita though. Just like last time, we would have to watch a bunch of switching before this train would proceed east. Once they had finished switching at the west end of Orient Yard, they throttled up and passed me. Check out this old Rio Grande hopper. A few days later, on Monday, July 20th, me and my dad set sail on a trip east. Where was this trip taking us, you ask? Well, I'll give you a little hint. Way down south in a faraway land, the biggest commodity you'll see is sand. I know, that was super corny, but hey, it works. This trip would take us down through southeast Kansas on our way, so we made a pit stop at the Skull Yard in Cherryvale to see if the Charger was there. Once I got the drone up, one of the first things I noticed was that the Charger is there. The Charger, also known as WAMX 4158, is a GMD SD40-2 that pays tribute to the Cherryvale local high school. I'm not sure when it was painted in this livery, I believe it was around 10 years ago, but it still looks pretty sharp. I've been trying to get a good shot of this unit for years, and this is where I finally did. The scheme almost looks like a leaser scheme, but it's not standard Watco, so I'm not complaining. Once I was done flying around the Charger, I flew to the back of the shops to check out the parts deadline. The Cherryvale shop's parts deadline is a goldmine for rare Watco locomotives. It hosts 3 UP Triclops SD60s and a GP7U. None of these engines are likely to ever run again, and the parts deadline isn't easily visible from public property, so thanks to my drone I'm able to get a rare look at this unique piece of Skull property. Once we were done at Cherryvale, we continued on to our next stop of the day, Pittsburgh, Kansas. Pittsburgh lies in the CPKC Heavener subdivision, and I recently learned that the local based out of there has a gray ghost leader, so we decided to stop there on our way south. When we got to Pittsburgh, we noticed a southbound that had this leading.
Yo, so I just rolled up to Pittsburgh, Kansas for our first stop of the day. Look who's sitting here. It's the Vancouver Olympic unit. I can't tell if it has a crew or not, but we'll try to get closer to this thing. This is awesome. I've seen this thing once before, but that was before I had a proper camera, or at least knew how to use this one. It doesn't look like it has a crew, but oh, never mind. It does. Guess I better hurry up and find a spot to catch this thing at then.
In typical Central Kansas railfan fashion, I did not find a place to wait for 8876, and I instead started searching for the Dodger. Eventually, I went to the overpass above the yard and I found it sitting off in the distance. However, it was blocked by the weirdest CPKC thing I have ever seen. It was an empty coal train sitting with its second rear DPU barely cut off from the train. This made no sense to me when I first looked at it, but it would make sense later. The first DPU was a Thundercab Ace, but it was BNSF and I was here for KCS stuff, so I didn't really care. After sitting on the bridge for about 20 minutes, I figured out that the Manifest couldn't leave until the coal train did, and the Dodger also couldn't leave until the coal train did. And with nothing happening, we decided to just go to the north end of the yard and see what the DPU on 8876's train was. But that ended up being a huge mistake.
We decided to come up here to waste time, and somehow the coal train managed to leave. Oh, and the DPU of this Manifest is just another boring Jeevo. That's splendid.
So after that, we were thinking, it's fine. 8876 is a long train. It's not going to be able to accelerate that fast. And then we heard two blasts of a K5HL. You can probably guess what happened next.
We are currently driving through Pittsburgh to a random crossing because the Olympic unit chose the exact worst time to leave. I don't know if we're going to be able to catch this thing, but we're going to give it a shot. I'm not even surprised. This is killing our chances of catching this thing. 4th Street stoplight, I hate you. Thank you. Oh, he's still moving past the bridge. Oh, we are so cooked. See where the tracks are. Oh my gosh. Oh, that crossing's activating. Looks like we're ahead of it. Yes. That's our crossing right up there. That's where we're gonna go for it. Boy, was that a disaster. And the worst part about it is, the Dodger was following so close behind it that I didn't have any choice but to go to a worse lit spot than I was planning. And considering that this is the spot I was planning versus this is the spot where I caught the train, it hurts, man. But hey, a gray ghost is a gray ghost, so I can't really complain.
Feeling a little bit defeated, but still having gotten what we came for, we continued on our road trip and headed towards our last planned stop of the day before the big prize, Galena, Kansas, an extremely tiny town on Route 66 in the very southeast corner of the state. This town had two things that were of interest to me. The first being the original inspiration for Tow Mater, and the second being in Erie, Lackawanna, Alco? What? I have no idea why this thing is here, how it got here, how much longer it's gonna be here for, or why it even still exists. But I'm just glad I got to see it, because this is probably one of the most unusual, unique, and rare locomotives I've ever seen. It also fits perfectly with the theme of the trip, which you'll see in next week's video. Anyways, that's all I'm going to share about this trip for now, so thanks for watching.